Hey y'all, it's Josh, Chamberlain's Portable Welding. I'm going to go over a quick job we're going to do this morning. I kind of winded down on all the projects we had for this one customer up here towards Nashville. We got a D6T push arm here. We're going to cut this socket insert out. We're going to arc gouge it. We got a new socket insert here that we're going to put in. We're going to use a 5/16 gouging rod to get the major part of the factory welds cut out, and then I'll come back through with a 1/4 inch gouging rod to fine tune it and clean everything up. This 5/16 rod, I just run my machine anywhere between 380 to 400 amps. This rod here, I'll be running around 250 to 300 amps. So we done got the cables hooked up. We'll get the welder fired up and put the hood on, turn the air compressor on, and start gouging. I already got my welder set for the big rods, so let's get this thing fired up. So in a lot of my arc gouging videos, I kind of explain when you see me gouging something, I'm looking for this factory metal and this factory metal seam where right before it's welded up. You can see the seam right through here. You see the seam across the top there. That's what I'm looking for when I'm gouging. We got this one cut pretty well right on the spot as far as where that seam is. I figured we'd have to tap it with a sledgehammer, but it's already loose. I was chipping the slag out to make this part of the video, and you see how easy that come out. So now we'll come back with my gouger and clean and put a beveled edge on this factory metal, and we'll start test fitting the new insert to see how it sits in there, and then we'll just start welding it up. But arc gouging to me is very crucial in the equipment welding repair world. I use that arc gouger as much as I use my crane and welding machine. Cutting parts off, gouging cracks out. Very good tool to have on a service truck. I also use, and I mention this in almost every arc gouging video, this is the a K4000 air arc gouger. Very good setup. Alright, so we got this socket insert cleaned up. We got the end of the push arm cleaned up where this piece will go. I just want to talk about the term insert. Like in the equipment world, most of us, when you hear us say we're going to put in a weld insert, this and that, like a trunnion insert or a socket insert or a ball insert, it's generally the part that we're cutting out and replacing with. You can see this outside diameter of this flange is wider than the middle section, and it bottlenecks down. This smaller section will actually slide perfectly up into the tube where we're about to weld it to. So I'm going to carry this over here. We'll get the foam. I'll slide this up in the push arm and kind of show you what we're going to be welding. We'll probably weld all this out with 045 flux core. It won't take us long to do that. I had about 15 minutes in arc gouging it out, another 5 minutes in cleaning it up, putting a bevel on it with an arc gouger, and probably 5 minutes worth of prep work and grinding. So I don't know, we'll say 30 minutes to this point, and it'll probably take 15-25 minutes or so to weld this section in. So here's the old socket insert we gouged out. You can see the shafts obviously wore out. It was letting the bearing in the cage move too much when the push arms is being picked up. So here's the end result of cutting all that out. And then you can see how this insert just slides up into the tubing. So that's kind of what you want. We'll come through with the 045 wire. We'll vertical weld the sides. I'll lay the crane down and we'll weld that flat, and I'll probably flip this push arm back over upright because it is upside down, and we'll weld out the actual top side. We just pretty much do all this in vertical and flat positions. That's that. So I'm gonna get my suitcase out and get it hooked up, and let's start welding. All right, we got that first pass all the way around. We're probably just gonna weld it up like it is and do some overhead welding today. It shouldn't take long. Now we're about to just start stacking beads and finishing her out. right, we got this welded on, this insert welded in. I'm gonna fire the crane up, lower this push arm down. They're bringing the telehandler over, and we're gonna get this push arm out of the way, and then I'm gonna flip 2 of the wheels, finish welding cracks up on them, and I should be done up here for a while. Probably be back next week. Either way, we appreciate y'all watching. As always, I hope y'all gained some tips here and there from me. Until next time, thank y'all for watching.